sorry. Let's talk briefly about midterm. So we don't have a specific thing that's designated midterm. Those who've had me before, you know what I'm talking about. We don't classify something as this is a midterm. What is a midterm? A midterm is a point in time in which instructors are supposed to give feedback to students on how they're doing. Why? Some instructors in the past, it's kind of harder to do now with Canvas. I'm sure it happens somewhere, but some instructors have 0 grades for students right up until the point where finals come in. Well, what happened, this is the story, this is how it goes, is students would be like, well, how do I know if I should drop the class or if I shouldn't drop the class? Or instructor would say, stay in the class, or drop the class, but they didn't know. They didn't have any data to make a decision. So in comes the midterm. And that's what it's for. And in this story, some professors give a midterm exam. Okay, big deal, whatever. And they call it a midterm. And students get very, very antsy about it. They get very nervous, like, oh, I'm a midterm. A midterm exam should just be like any other exam. I don't think they should be worth any more points. Maybe some instructors do, but they shouldn't. The only thing that should be worth more than any other exam is your final. There shouldn't be a lot more. Just letting you know that in case maybe that's happening somewhere or it happens in the future, you should know that. Now, in 2021, why do we have a midterm? I don't know. I don't think we need a midterm point because we have Canvas. And if things are done right, a student should know where they are at 24/7, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. A student should never be in the dark, at least with our technologies now. So maybe midterms will go away. Maybe eventually midterms will go away, but that is the story. Now, the only thing that you don't have in your grade book is only one thing. What is that one thing that's not in your grade book that I don't sink in?
Is it Launchpad?
It is Launchpad, correct. Now, however, let's ask this question. Does Launchpad show you how you're doing?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, okay. Now remember this. We do not go on a percent. We don't go on a percentage for anything. Keep percentages out of your head. We don't even have ranges. Oh, from here to here, here to here, point, like percentages. We don't really even do that. The only range you need to know is, again, 90 to 100 is an A. 80 to an 89 is a B, and so forth and so forth, just like in the good old high school days. It's very simple, right? It's just like high school, keeping it simple. Now, so a student may say, well, I don't know how I'm doing on my Canvas. You know how you're doing on your Canvas. Don't give me that. You know whether you're doing great and you're knocking it out of the park, or you know if you're not doing it great because you have your own grade book in Canvas. So don't tell me that you don't know how you're doing in Canvas, or don't be shocked like, oh my lordy, I didn't do all these assignments and well, I don't have a great grade in Launchpad and it's gonna affect my grade. Well, yeah, that's how math works. That's mathematics. I didn't invent it. Math's been around for eons and eons and eons. It's been around since before the dawn of time. It's mathematics. Since the first star was born, mathematics. It's nothing that I patented myself. It just is what it is. However, on Launchpad, do not get confused if, for example, you only did one chapter or one module and it says, and you got them all right, and it says 100%. And you think you're being sneaky because you're like, well, my Launchpad says 100%. It's 100% of what you did, not 100% of what you're supposed to do. So you could have something say 100%, and let's say someone they did one chapter and they got everything right and they didn't do all the rest of the chapters, it shows 100% of what you've completed. And let's say Cesar over there, he did the 12 chapters and his shows to be let's say 88%. Okay, because that he did it all. So the student that ends up who has the 100 tries to be sneaky, pull a fast one on me and say, well, mine says 100. And they send me a screenshot. Well, like, well, and then I send a screenshot back. Well, look at your points. You have nothing. So we go by points. That's what we do. We go by points. So keep that in mind when it comes to that. So that's the only thing that I'm going to add. Everything else you have. Now, you have, let's take a look on Canvas to see where we're at. We have 3 exams that we've had. Oh, sorry, let me share, my bad. We have 3 exams, okay? We have 3 exams, and I'm gonna add a 4th. I'm gonna make a 4th today for you. 30 questions, not a biggie. You're gonna be given, I think I'll have it done by evening of today, and it'll be due on Friday, 8 o'clock, because midterm grades are due by noon for me. I have to submit in the letter grades, all right? So you'll have lecture exam 13, all right? You'll have 13. And again, you'll be given, that's approximately 3 days to do it, which is typically, I've already checked with my dean and he said, or my division chair says, typically, yes, 3 days. Yes, most of the time I give you guys more than 3, but for this particular exam, it'll be a little more than 3 days. It's the same as all the other exams, worth the same. It's 30 questions, 60 points, no biggie, no more, no less. So I don't want you to think of it as a midterm exam. Please don't, because I already did an experiment with students where I told a group of students, I kind of would reiterate it and change my tone and say, we're gonna have a midterm exam. Make sure you all study your midterm exam. Then I had another group of students that I told them what I'm telling you. Guess what? The students that I kept telling, and these two groups were, when I did the median of grades, they were pretty darn close, very close, with a very little fluctuation. So don't think like, oh, one group was better than the other. No, they're fairly similar, which is why I decided to do this experiment. And the group of students that I kept saying, hey, we're gonna have that midterm, make sure that midterm exam, they scored statistically significantly less than the group of the students that were more chill, like it's just any other exam. And that's why I'm telling you, be cool, be calm, and it's just like any other exam. There's just no tricks to it. 15 questions from your Launchpad. That's my reward for your investment. Just like always, 50% of the exam, Launchpad questions. The other 50%, PowerPoint or discussions. So that's my way of giving you an incentive to do Launchpad, to help you, encourage you. Do I have to do that? No, I don't. But it's my way of encouraging you to do it. So that's the update on the midterm exam. Midterm grades, whatever. We don't have a midterm exam. So it is chapter 13. I will have it out again this evening, and which gives you your Tuesday, Wednesday, your Thursday, and then part of Friday at 8 a.m. to have done. I'll have your Launchpad grades way before then, already entered into a column there, so you'll see how that works out. And then I enter a letter grade. If you fall in, like if you're from a 70, you get a 75, I'm going to put in a C. If you have an 85, that's a B. If you have a 95, that's an A. And if you have anything in the 60s, that's a D. And if you have anything below a 60, it's an F. whether it's a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or a 20, it's an F. Like that's where it falls. So you know where you're at, because all you have to do is go to Canvas and look under your where it says your like assignments. I think that's what it's called, and you can see your grade and see everything there, what the total is. Does anybody have any questions on your Canvas and what that looks like? I'm gonna go there really quickly since you're off screen, but while I'm going there, any questions in terms of how things go? I'm going in terms of the grading. So I'm going to move these over here so you can't really see the names. And I'm going to show you. This is the grade book to Cerritos Springs. You can't see the names. I'll even close it even a little more so nobody gets you can't really make it out. I'll even cover it over there. So it says assignments, but reality, like, I don't know why it says that, but this is the percentages that I'm looking at. This is the percentage. So this individual's in the F range. This individual's in the B range. This individual has an A. This person has a B. This person has a C. This is an A. This is a D. This is a B. This is a C. This is an A. It's like a pretty much a perfect. Yeah, perfect there. That's an A. That's an F. And you get the point. And look here, how can someone get a 101.11? That's called extra points that I've thrown in there, or something like that. So that's how it goes. So when you look at it in your grade book, do you see something like this? Anything? I know it's going to look a little different because it's the instructor's grade book, but how does it look for yours? And I have no student view, just so you know that. I can't student view this.
It's we go to our grade. There's a grade section in Canvas, and we click that, and then it'll list all of our assignments that we had or exams. And it'll give us like the exact grade for that specific exam or assignment. And then at the top, it has our grade.
Okay.
Our percentage.
Does it show you that percentage?
Yes, it does.
Okay, great. Because that's your grade. When you look at that percentage there, that is your grade. What is that percentage? It's saying of all the total points, like this individual, let's say there were 100. Of course, we have more than 100, but let's say we have that nice, beautiful round number, 100. That means this individual got, we'll say, 81 of those points. So they're at the 81%. This individual of the 100 points, this individual did 54 points. Well, they're 54%. So this is a percent of your total. And then boom, I'm going to put Launchpad in, and it's going to calculate that again, show you the percent of how many points you got from the beginning to the point in which you're looking at it. Okay, so you take an exam, you see your grade, what you got in the exam. You want to know what, matter of fact, all of you are going to know your midterm letter grade before me. Why? As soon as you press submit to that exam, chapter 13, it gets graded. You're going to go see your grade in your grade book, and you're going to see your percent, and you're going to know your letter grade before me, because I'm not just waiting to see like, how would I do that? It's like so many sections. I can't just be waiting until the numbers change on the grade book. So you're going to know the grade before me. So it's not a biggie. It is not a biggie. Questions? This video is going to be titled Midterm Update. This is what this is going to be titled. It's going to be uploaded. So you want to hear it again, it's there. Do I have any questions? I'm going to do a stop share. Can I get some thumbs up, some feedback from the group to see if it looks okay, if we understand each other, we're okay? All right.
We're good, sir. Thank you.
Good. I appreciate the feedback. Thank you. So it's everybody here gets it. So I'm sure everyone watching it's going to get it. I want to give you some time today to review your 13. again, look where we're at. Let's go take a look. Let me do a share. Let me go back to our dashboard. In terms of content, I'll share it in a little bit. In terms of content, we're doing good. We are doing good where we are. There is no need for us to dive into 16. There's no need for us to do that. We have cushion. We have cushion here. So your exam is going to be on the chapter 13. Today's lecture is just giving all of you an update for midterms, what that means. And this is where your exam is going to be focused on. And I believe this is the one where we really talked about CAFOs and antibiotic resistance. And that's why it had to go over the time. And we did it into a 2-part session. Let's see. What else? All right, so that's it. One more time. Do we have questions on exam, grading, anything we need to know? All right. What did y'all think about your assignment? In terms of the presentation, the concentrated, the CAFO, concentrated animal feeding operations, the presentation. What was your conclusion? Because when we first spoke, I just showed you the beginning and the end, and then I guided you into some food for thought, right? Lame joke, right? Since we're talking about animals, I know, lame, food for thought. I know, horrible joke. I get it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But any ideas, something you found interesting, something you didn't quite understand, anything you'd like to share in terms of that antibiotic resistance assignment?
I actually emailed you about how much that I liked the assignment. It kind of made me worry because I didn't realize antibiotic resistance is really that bad, including like in our agriculture business as well. But is that like really a problem with the CAFOs?
Yeah, so first, thank you for your email. The only reason I did not reply is I did not have my laptop and I was traveling and I didn't bring my laptop in. I attempted to reply to you and it's just different through text, like through putting it on your phone. So I wanted to get to my laptop, but I do appreciate the feedback, Virginia, on that. And I will reply because that's what I have to do. I will reply to you, but that's the reason why there was a delay. I didn't have my laptop with me. So like these communications we did earlier this morning was through my phone. Yeah, it is a problem. It is a problem, and it's a problem in our food industry. And most of the antibiotics are released in an organism via feces or urine. However, some of the antibiotics are in meat. They call it antibiotic residues. So some of them stay in meats. Most, not a lot, but there is some. So it is just not the exposure to us eating meats that may contain antibiotics. It's also the environment in our soil. We're getting what he didn't discuss is that he mentioned, he did a good job saying the risk of CAFOs, but what do we do with manure? What I really would have liked him to talk about was getting an antibiotic, putting a radioactive isotope, and giving it to a cow or any animal, and then observing the radioactivity of this. It's a term called, in a way, pharmacokinetics, and it's biotransformation, meaning what is the percent of the original molecule that gets excreted in feces, in urine, and you get that number, you add it up, and then you subtract from the original number, and then you say, well, if it didn't come out through urine or feces, where's the other? Let's say it was, let's give a number 10. So if urine and feces adds up to 5, where's the other 5? It's somewhere in the organism. It's somewhere there still. That's called, that's how we track how things do. Like every medicine that comes on the market for us, the company has to submit that type of toxicological data to the FDA, the Food Drug Administration, so they can evaluate all these different things. So to answer Virginia's questions, it's not just the meat, it's that manure gets used in agriculture often. What do you do with it? Eventually, in these underground storage tanks or lagoons, they look like ponds, but it's full of poo and urine. And what do you do with it? Where does it go? You usually have to like put it out in the field, out somewhere. You could do it on a crop or maybe a non-crop, a grazing area, you know. And that's when antibiotics within soil begin to interact with these antibiotics. And then through natural selection, all these different things and pressure, we have, boom, antibiotic resistance. So CAFOs are one component of the antibiotic resistance, but also the improper usage of antibiotics by humans. That's a big one too, where people would take it for like maybe a scratchy throat, a little a little cough, but it wasn't a bacteria. It was actually viral, a cold, rhinovirus, and that's a problem. So there are multiple avenues and multiple. Like if you draw a little map, you would see that there's a lot of little arrows that would point that lead to antibiotic resistance. So yes, I'm trying to answer the question. Yeah, it's a problem. It's actually a very scary problem because people can go into a hospital for surgery, young, old, and then boom, they get infected there. And sometimes um, they get very ill, can cause organ failure and sometimes death. So we have to be conscious of that. For example, what's going to be really, really interesting is a study, and I only wish like I had a team and the funding to see what is going to happen to the microbial communities on the hands of, let's say, Americans during COVID, after COVID, because we are really lathering up our hands. Isopropyl alcohol, 70%, 90%, all the different gels, like we are really lathering it up. So we are really knocking out our microbes that are in our hands that are very, very important. Very important. And it's going to be a very interesting thing. And mark my words, like you may hear about it 7 years, 8 years down the road. We're going to learn something. It's going to be either good or it's going to be bad. But I promise you, mark my word, we will see something. News will rise. It's going to be either not so good or it's going to be okay. But I think you have to be conscious. Like I'm conscious of this. I sanitize my hands. I wash my hands. I do that. But I also try to introduce my hands into soil. So I introduce my hands. I don't do it often. I don't do it every day, but I try to do it like once a week, maybe twice a week if I can do it. I just touch soil and I put my hands just like a batter on a mound gets dirty. He or she gets ready for the bat and just put that through my hands. It has so many, I mean, countless bacteria from different areas, right? And that is my way of reintroducing. Keep my hands a little dirty in terms of dirt particles. Give it like that for a few minutes. Try to reintroduce it because yeah, that's a very, very interesting thing that I'm sure someone's going to do research on it. It's going to be awesome. Awesome. So yeah, and notice how when we go to our grocery stores, we see, you look carefully at the meats. Look very carefully. I did this recently, and most of them will say hormone free. Others will say, or I forgot what else, but mainly hormone free and USDA approved, which is approved by the United States Department of Agriculture. That's awesome. That's great. But I have seen very few products in our markets, local markets, that state antibiotic free. Take a look next time. Take a look. Go to the meat area. Poultry, chicken, pork, beef. Make your choice and take a look at it. Next time, just look through them, shop through it. Look at that, the packages, and see what it's free of. And very rarely are you going to find the one that's free of antibiotics. Then, if you do find one, try to compare that particular product with a product that doesn't say it of the same weight. You have to look at the little net weight on the sticker, and then look at the price. Tell me next time if you find that, if there's a price difference. That'll be very interesting to share with the rest. And then if you see a price difference, come up with a hypothesis as to why do you think there is a price difference in that product. So we have to try our best to be conscious of what we do, how we clean. We have to be really conscious. We have to try to stay healthy as much as possible so we can try to prevent us from getting sick. That means your body gets less exposure to antibiotics. I've had antibiotics in my life before. I think I would say probably 99% of us in this classroom have been exposed to antibiotics at some form, somehow, some way in our lifetime. They are life-saving. They've saved millions and millions of lives. And it's such a precious, precious technology. And it's getting to the point, what he was trying to say in the presentation is that you can only change the structure of an antibiotic so many times until you run out of options, literally shapes that are going to be beneficial without damaging and severely hurting us. There's some antibiotics out there that are great, but they'll knock out some of your organs, and they don't ever make it to the market. They don't ever make it to the shelves. They never make it to nothing. We never see them because they're good at killing bacteria, but they're also can hurt us. So we have to be careful with that. So we're coming to the ends of the journey of antibiotics. So it's gonna be interesting to see what are we going to do. And I am concerned of I'm concerned in a human health perspective in terms of I think some people call them STIs and go STDs, STIs, sexually transmitted infections, sexually transmitted diseases, some of them becoming resistant. And that's a scary thing. That's antibiotic resistance and those things, because most STIs, we had a time where you didn't have to worry, it's very curable. You would, unless it was a herpes virus or an HIV or AIDS, all the rest were pretty much manageable. Now things are changing. So people need to be careful about that as well. And this text did not discuss that, but look it up in the CDC, look up your CDC in terms of STIs and they have some really beautiful graphs. You can see where antibiotic resistance is going up. So, but that one is due to improper dosage. People not taking their medicines who've had an STI, who contracted it, very curable, take the antibiotics, but don't take it right. They maybe stop halfway because they feel better. And they just stop, or there's no discharge anymore. There's no discharge. We won't get into the details. That's for, if you want more details on that, take a micro class with me or take my A&P physiology. Then they feel better. And then they stop. And then it goes on to another person, they get it. And then that person does the same thing. And it takes a while. It takes a while to get to this point of antibiotic resistance, and it happens. So be careful. I'm not saying live in fear. That's not what I'm saying, but knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. So any questions before I let your amazing group of students head out and focus on chapter 13 and be prepared for it?
Is Launchpad going to be included in our midterm grade?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I will have your Launchpad grades before your Friday 8 p.m. I can tell you that. They'll be in there. As soon as I get done writing your exams, I start putting your Launchpad grades in there. So yes, you will have a very, very, very accurate reading of your percent, right? And again, I don't link Launchpad with the gradebook because it gets overpopulated. It's hard for me to find discrepancies. It's hard for the student to see something happened wrong. By isolating it and focusing on just the Launchpad, I can see if something happened. And I have reached out to students in the past where something looks fishy. And we've been able to change grades for students for the better, And so that's why I do it. There's a reason behind the madness. I promise you that. So, all right. Good question, Laura. We'll have those Launchpad grades into your Canvas. Yes, we will. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to wish you the best. If you have any. So, Giselle, I do have the notebook. I do need to add some I do need to go back to my notebook and look at the extra points because I think quite a few of you have some extra points in there, to be very honest. Yes. Let me do something really quick. It's because this is the main group of students that are always attending. So I'm just going to keep an eye out for that when I'm going through my notebook. So I'm going to be keeping out for your names. And that's why I took that picture so I can see what's going on and keeping track. But yes, Giselle, thank you for letting me know that. And you are correct. You are correct. I do need to spread the points out. That's correct. So, and your assignment will be graded as well. Your antibiotic resistance one. So let me show you some. For example, I'm just in the Carrizo section. So this is the Carrizo section. So right now, it says like on my to-do list. So I have 21 to grade, 21 to grade. Now, coming over here, just so you have an idea, and I knock out a lot of these grading. Like these are PowerPoint presentations. These are for anatomy, physiology. Like I really give them. So you think that you guys get a lot. There was way more to do way up here. So I go through each and every one of all their assignments, and each person receives a comment from me. Because I don't want a student for 1 nanosecond to think that I don't read their work. And they already learned it, some of them the hard way, that they're not going to pull a fast one on me. And I literally read everything. So for future assignments, letting you know that I literally read everything. So I even had an email from a student like, I can't believe you like noted that someone tried to throw me a curveball. I was really nice about it. And the student was really good sport, said, I can't believe you read that and noticed that. So just sharing with you that I will read everything you send me. And that way we can feel important, especially in the world of isolation where we are right now. I think it's important for all of us to feel included in something. So, all right, well, I'll let everybody head out and have a wonderful rest of your day. And we will do lecture on our Wednesday, okay? All right, I'll stick back for any questions you may have. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
Bye, sir. Thank you so much.
Yep.
For everything.
Thank you.
Bye.
Advisors.
See ya.
Stay safe. Have a good day.
Thank you.